The flowers of September, days that I remember, I'll just try to represent it tenderly. Shame on you, surrender to the system like I do. Cowardly. And through the alleyways, we lost control, dreaming of the ocean. Hey, what's going on? It's not so hard thinking out the way to be calm. And you were so far. Is it hard to see? Don't know where we are or what we may find.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Live at Chance's House. This is going to be a great episode. Today we are doing an interview. This is part of our Team Vamu series, where we're going to be talking to our founders of Team Vamu, the Tangerine Club. Axe, Cynthia, welcome in. How are you guys today?
Hello, Chance.
Hello, Chance.
Thank you so much for the invitation, my friend. We're fine. How about you?
I'm doing great. This is so this came up, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, and I just had this idea. I don't know why. I just was like, this would be really fun, because I used to do a lot of interviews during the pandemic. Before I was playing a lot, I would also do interviews. And I was like, you know what? We should be doing this with all of our team members. And I figured, well, what better way to do it than to start with our founders? So that's why they're here. All right.
It's a great idea. Great idea.
I appreciate it. Thanks. This is going to be fun. So I guess really to get started, look, I know some about you guys. I know that people who watch the Tangerine Club know some about you guys. But I thought this would be a really great opportunity to just say, hey, what are your influences? Where'd you get started and all of the things? So let me start with this just to get us started. Axe, tell me a little bit about yourself and how music got started in your life.
Well, Chance, again, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a great idea. You are a person with good ideas. Since I met you, I've always been very kind and very, always trying to think about how can you help the team, and this is something I really appreciate. And about my story, well, music for me it feels like another natural part of my body. It's always been, I never had any other aspiration, any other dream in my life than to become a musician. Actually, I don't think that's precise, because I never had that dream to become a musician, because in my experience, I've always been a musician. Everything for me was always related to music, because I don't know, I don't have a musical family. And both sides of my family, there's nothing related to music in the slightest level. It's very unrelated. I always remember traveling with my folks around our state, and there was no music on the radio in the car. I used to remember that later, because I cannot live without my phones. There's have to be music for me every moment of my life. So this is very strange. I'm very disconnected musically with my family, although there's been some relevant inputs, especially of my dad, without even knowing. But the thing is, I had this acoustic guitar. I came from a very Catholic family. I grew up on the church, and my sister, which she is 14 years older than me, and she used to sing in church, stuff like that, but never played the instrument. And when I was little baby, she decided to learn an instrument. And my folks gave her an acoustic guitar, classical guitar, a very cheap one, but very Brazilian. We have a Brazilian brand of cheap guitars that are the best guitars of the cheap entry level. It's called Giannini. And I remember that guitar there because she played for 2 weeks and left the guitar. She couldn't make it. So the guitar was always there at the wall. And I remember that. I remember that as a part of the furniture of my house. And it started with that, my friend. I started to make noises with that. Noises, especially percussion noises first. Instead of noise, I used to play like the percussion, like that. And then when I was 5 years old, my mom put me in the church guitar classes with a nice lady. She's called Madalena, and I was the youngest of the class. My mom, my aunt was in the class, old ladies, and me, 5 years old. And then it was clearly after a few weeks that I was evolving much faster than all the old ladies. So my mom started to think that she should teach me separately, like in private lessons. And so those lessons, I think, if I remember correctly, they went from when I was 5 to when I was 6. It was, I always say as a joke on stream that my whole academic life in music is there. For when I was 5 to when I was 6, I had classes, and then the teacher told my folks that every time I say that, it feels like something arrogant. It's not. It's not that. But she told my folks that she had nothing more to teach me. And I don't think that says something about me, but about her. She was a very simple teacher. She just knew the basic stuff. So when she saw that I was playing just like her, she was very honest with my folks. But they were never very happy about me pursuing musical career, so they never really invested in my musical education anymore. So from there to now, it's been a private journey about self-taught and discovering stuff by myself.
I have a question. Do you still have that guitar that was on the wall?
No, I have no idea.
It's on your house, not?
No, it's not that.
Ah, it's not that one.
I have a very
thought
old
it was
guitar,
that one.
acoustic guitar, very old, but my grandma gave to me after I was already like a musician. I think when I was like 11 or 12, and I have this first guitar that was a present to me, not my sister. This I have. But that guitar, most of old stuff in my house goes to church donations. Sometimes I call my mom, Ma, do you have that stuff? No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
everything goes to church.
It's gone.
So I don't have that. My bet is that it went to church donation.
No, I'm just curious because I still have the first guitar that I ever got, and it's, to what you said, it's not like a great guitar. It's an entry-level guitar, and my father was supportive of anything and anything I wanted to do, and but as a teenager, our minds change, and he was like, "Well, I don't want this to just be another thing," so he bought me a guitar. He's like, "I'm gonna buy you a guitar, but I'm not gonna get you a good one." And I'm like, "Okay." It's made by Yamaha. It's their entry level. It's got the 12th fret's got dead frets. It's old.
My first guitar was a Yamaha as well.
What? Really?
Yes.
And it's
Electric guitar.
electric guitar.
Yeah.
So this one's an acoustic, but it doesn't have any pickups in it. But I played that guitar for years, and I even played it live. I even got like one of the internal pickups to plug into and did a whole thing. I still have that guitar to this day. I'll never get rid of it. Let's go over to Cynthia, and what about you? Did you come from a musical family, or was you're similar to like Axe's story, where like it kind of fell into your lap later, or what does that look like?
Yeah, we've been through this on our streams a couple of times. I don't have a musical background such as Axel, that plays since he was 5. Actually, I had some moments in my life where, when I was a kid, I did like a couple of months and singing on a choir on the church, but it was nothing big. There was always music in my house, but no one had a journey as a musician or something like that. My mom used to play the piano, but I didn't took the opportunity to learn. I never learned. There was a piano in the in our house, and I never learned nothing. And much later, I always tell this story on stream. I did law school back in Brazil, and I graduated. Did some courses after finishing law school, and I was already with Axe when I felt like I was not like fulfilled. I was not really feeling that what I was doing was the right thing, and I left it all behind. My law career was gone. It came to a point that I didn't find the meaning of doing that, something I didn't like, and I started to play actually 4 years ago on stream on our channel. It used to be called Axel in Tunes. It wasn't the Tangerine Club yet. And the pandemic came. Axel was already playing alone, and I was moderating in the back of the room. That was me just saying hello to everyone that joined the channel. And we invited Gabriel to come play the drums with Axe. Axe used to do just the guitar, or used to play that guitar and bass thing, right?
Hybrid.
The hybrid guitar.
Cool.
Playing with Gabriel on drums, because we wanted to give Gabriel an opportunity to join us and try to make some money. He got without students, without gigs, in the middle of the pandemic. And one day, Axe always tells the story. They were playing With or Without You by U2. It's simple. It's like four chords, and he looked at me. Hey, can you grab the bass and try to do just this? And I said, okay, let's try to do it. And it started there. I loved it. I'm now a musician for 4 years, almost 4 years, 4 years already. And that's it. That's my musical background. I'm completely the opposite of Axel.
Chance, can I take your place and make a question to Cynthia?
Please. Yes.
Because there's something very interesting about how something that I really think that helped her approach 4 years ago when she started playing an instrument, and it was certainly a very good argument or reason that I connect with her and she connect with me, because we've been friends for long before, and she always had very, very different from her friends, and my friends, this is something that I don't want to. I'm not a sexist person. I don't want to sound like that, but in my experience, my friends, my female friends, they had that same musical taste. Most of them, the same musical taste, like Spice Girls, something like that. Yeah.
From our time.
Yeah, this is
our teenage years.
I know that this is a consequence of the way society was formed with this manly oriented society. I know that, but it is what it is. It was what it was back then when I was a teenager, and I had my female friends, and most of them were not the ones connected with the bands, the artists. It was just listen to popular music on the radio, stuff like that.
Yep.
And I wasn't like that.
And Cynthia wasn't like that. It always caught my attention that she was listening to Deep Purple B-sides.
Nice.
We connected when I remember we got around this band that used to do a tribute of Deep Purple that line up with David Coverdale, Glenn Hughes. That they recorded Burn, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band. And her favorite album was Come
that's
Taste the Band,
my
the
favorite.
most
That's awesome.
the most B-side of Deep Purple ever. And she used to love Rush a lot and stuff like that. So I think something that you can try to find the answer here. When that started, because if you find out when that started, it's when you start paying attention to music in a different way.
Yeah, I believe it started when I was like 13 to 14 years.
Because you used to like Spice Girls as well.
Of course, I love them as well. And I have older brothers. One is 10 years older than me, and the other is 8 years older than me. And of course, I listen to the stuff from the moment, like he said, Spice Girls and whatever. But I always listen to what my brothers were listening. And I think that's where it started. I was listening to two different worlds, and I found my way into loving music, you know. And after that, I had some friends from yours as well. They used to listen a lot of heavy metal. I had my heavy metal phase.
We met.
Yeah.
We met because of a heavy metal fans group
Yeah, we gather. It was a simple.
that
and
used to have.
small
You
town.
remember that social media. I don't know the name in English. IRC.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
IRC chat relays.
IRC. Yeah.
It was that we had a
Yeah.
channel on that in the 90s, in 97, 98,
Yeah.
something like that.
Wow.
Something like that.
It was called
Metal. And the
Yep.
name of our CD.
and the name of our city, Metal RG.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because America Online got really popular. Obviously, AOL in America, but
Yes, yes.
before that came out, I was all over IRC chat relays because that was really the formation and where the internet kind of started.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, oh, we got to dive into this heavy metal thing. Okay. You know, let's skip around then. This is what I love about this. When the conversation becomes organic. So, what are Cynthia? I'll ask you first. What were your major heavy metal influences when you were in?
Actually, not heavy metal. I used to love melodic metal, and it's melodic like in English. It's like that we say.
Yeah, it's something related
like,
to I think it's tell the bands and he can identify.
Like Stratovarius and Angra from Brazil.
Okay.
I think Angra is melodic, right?
Power metal.
Power
something
metal.
like that.
I would
Halloween.
say.
something like that.
Halloween, stuff like
Halloween.
that. Yeah.
Dream Theater.
I used to love Dream Theater as well.
Okay.
Yes.
I know you're,
Progressive
I know the
metal.
type.
Yeah.
Yeah, progressive metal. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I love that stuff too. And I think that musical tastes change over the years, but no matter what, you still find yourself going, "Oh, that's such great music." What are some of what are some of the other influences that you have, Axel? Like, what did you grow up listening to that was really like this is
Well,
what I love?
That's complete. That story about my family influence. There was a very relevant influence from my dad. I think he never knew that, and it was because he was a fan of bands, songs, and artists that he never knew the names. There was a radio in our city that used to play international music only, and he used to make mixtapes. My dad wasn't a very connected person. He was very connected with his way of life, and I remember our house. Every room of our house had a stereo. Had that you can play vinyl, cassettes, and radio. Those I don't know the name in English. Those stereo. I don't know. It must be stereo. They
Yeah.
sound equipped.
A hi-fi stereo. Yeah.
Yeah. He could record cassettes with that. We were a very simple family. We didn't have a lot of money, so the only thing he used to spend his extra bucks was into buying these systems to listen to the radio. He used to, and I have this influence of him a lot. He used to listen to the radio. I love radio. I love radio shows. I love stuff like that. And he used to turn off the lights and put into a radio show. And I used to be lying down next to him, talking nothing, looking to the sky or to the ceiling, and listening to stuff like that. And doing that, he used to record his favorites. He used to remember what time that song used to be played, and he used to write it down, and he used to go there and play rec to record that song. And we used to listen that on the car sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, because my mom didn't like very much to the music on. So now turn that off, stuff like that. And I remember those compilations, those mixtapes were with like Dire Straits, especially Talking Heads, Creedence, especially BB King, Queen, The Police, lots of bands that he never knew. He never knew. He never knew if Sting was sitting by his side. He was like, "Who's this strange person?" You know, he never knew the names of the bands and the songs and stuff like that. And if it was, I think, because of the environment I was raised in a very difficult neighborhood, in a very simple environment without access to cultural things, I really think that if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't had go to the path that I went musically. I don't know if I would be a musician. I really don't know, because it was really strange. I never heard those songs in other houses of friends, in other cars. Everybody was listening to the hits of Brazilian crappy music back then. Because people from outside of Brazil think in Brazil, Bossa Nova.
No, it was-
Nobody listens to Bossa Nova in Brazil,
was
unfortunately. Bossa Nova is a hit outside of Brazil, but it was a hit in Brazil, in a very specific part of Brazil in the 60s, and then vanished. Brazilian popular music is one of the crappiest things you will ever hear in your life. So I was, and it always been, it's not just now, it have always been the mainstream. I'm telling, there's genius musicians in Brazil and artists, but they are not mainstream, unfortunately. And I grew up listening to these things in birthdays with my friends. Everybody was connected with that mainstream popular crappy stuff. And the only place I listened to that weird, different, much more interesting, challenging stuff was with my dad mixtape. So that started because I always say that I had 5 best friends in my street. 2 of them already died because of criminal stuff. One of those guys is still a drug addict, and I was the only one. There's another guy that my mom tells me that he's trying to get his life together now. But I was the only one who had a chance. And it was because my mom and my dad worked really hard to get me into private school, get me out of the school of the neighborhood. And that gives me the chance to learn English. And when I start learning English in a very young age, I start connecting the names of the stuff and the names of the songs, you know, the lyrics and the stuff like that. And that got me into that path of discovering bands after bands after bands after bands. So
Your,
sense why
your
you're
main
saying-
influence.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. And kind of wrapping that up, which is why you said your parents weren't supportive necessarily of your musical career.
Yeah,
but your
yeah.
dad may not have understood how much influence he really had on you. And,
Absolutely.
And your parents too, for putting you in private school. You learned English, then you became more connected.
they were trying to get me
Yeah.
into something in their minds that was the success path, or to have a solid career, but without even knowing, that put me in the path, the only possible path for me, the only chance I had to fulfill my dream. If it wasn't for that, I certainly wouldn't be. I don't know if I wouldn't be a musician, because those things are are difficult to explain those connections. But perhaps I'll be doing totally different stuff.
When you got old enough to go, I like this, and it became your music, what was your biggest influence? How about that?
Well, my first, the first band, my mom used to work on this store. They used to work with two different things: the photographic films, like the people used to take their films to make pictures. I don't know how to say that in English. And the other, you used to sell CDs, vinyls, and cassettes, music. And then I used to get up early in the morning to see morning TV shows, kids shows. And I remember vividly in 1995, I think I called my mom because this band, this crazy band from Brazil called Cheetahs Titans,
Okay.
of a band of 7 people. They those shows, they used to pass cartoons, and they used to have musical parts. And this band enters, and like I was like, what is this, man? Playback, of course, because it was a TV show. They were dancing and playing a song. It was a rock romantic song, not heavy at all. And I got very stuck with that. So I called Mom. Mom, can you please bring home a CD from this band? And she brought it home, and man, it was like 3 years listening to that every single day. Every single day.
Now, can you explain to me so I understand? Did you say did they have a TV show? Were they like a musical band that was on TV?
No, it was a normal, regular kids TV show.
Okay.
They used to pass in
They
the
used to
morning.
pass cartoons,
Yeah.
and they used to have artists performing their singles.
I got it.
In
In
between
between.
cartoons, there was a
And
musical part.
Okay.
And I don't know why they invited that band. That was a very famous band, but very strange to be into a
No,
kids show. I think they were trying everything to make their single fly. And it was very interesting because every artist that was in that kids show was very kids-oriented artist. And this band was playing like a romantic song. It was a very regular radio song. It was, but nothing related to kids. And that started my nerd. I discovered that's the most important part of me, that I discovered that I am a nerd of everything I love. I go deep.
I am
deep.
Too. I am too.
I never go to sleep without knowing back then the names of every band member and their folks, stuff like that.
Right. What they played.
Well,
What strings they used.
yes. And that band was my introduction to that world of national and international artists. But I stuck with them and only them for 3 years, easily. I don't know if more than that, but it was only then. And after that, I kept the procedure, but I started to look to other bands. And I could tell you a lot of Brazilian bands that you not know, but the first band that I really got into internationally was Led Zeppelin, with that White double album. And I stuck with that, and that opened the gates of heavy music for me. The first bands that I really got into was heavy. Then after Led Zeppelin, I went to Black Sabbath and Deep Purple, the holy
The Holy Trinity right there.
Trinity. Yes. I stuck with them. And of those 3, Deep Purple emerged. And you can start to see the logic, because after Deep Purple, I went to progressive rock.
Yeah.
I went to because of the keyboards. I went to Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd, I got stuck with Pink Floyd really strong. I had a very strong Pink Floyd and phase. And Genesis, King Crimson. I still put in my Yes is one of my 3 favorite bands. I you will ever be. So my first incursion into the international music after Led Zeppelin, and then Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and then go to the progressive part of it, but not progressive metal. I never I had some little stints of liking Dream Theater, but I never really smiled to progressive metal. For some reason, it was sounded too much for me. I prefer the progressive rock.
Yep.
Bands like Genesis, yes. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I still, Cynthia doesn't like it very much, so sometimes I put after stream some Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Cynthia it's in the other room. What's happening here? What's happening here? Everything is sounding at the same time. and after that, it went to heavy metal. Like I had a very strong phase with Megadeth, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. More traditional. I never went deep with more B-sides, but and that was the time when I met Cynthia. And I can keep going on to where I went, but the thing is that I with all that mixture, I really found out that that's why I prefer Deep Purple in comparison with Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin, but I prefer Deep Purple because I have in my brain a need to listen. I have pleasure to listen every instrument in its place. Every instrument in its place, every part, everything very organized. So when I start to listen to Genesis and stuff like that, my heart went that because Led Zeppelin, it's amazing, but they were very dirty live, especially Jimmy Page, very dirty, very blah, blah, blah. Great. This is rock and roll, amazing. But I prefer like everything very organized, very. So when I heard Steely Dan, it was like, okay, let's stop. Let's stop right there. This is the music that I listen in my brain. The mix perfect, every volume perfect, every performance on spot, everything very organized, and this kind of oriented my path after that.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Mark Knopfler not once.
No, but Mark Knopfler is more related to the way I play.
The way you play, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think that, like, if you had to say, like, your top 3, like, that kind of got you through those years? What are your favorite bands? Like, what do you listen to?
What I listen the most would be the Beatles, of course, and I love Paul McCartney. It's incredible bass lines.
Paul John.
Difficult. Don't ask Paul or John.
George.
The Beatles, Steely Dan, of course. The Police. I love the Police. I love Sting. I always say that it's one of my biggest influences. I love his simple and perfect grooves.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, this was crazy too because when she was playing the bass, I was trying to show her bass players. Never occurred me to show her Sting as a bass player.
Yeah.
So I was showing Chris
Lots
Squire
of
from
stuff.
Yes. I was showing all the great bass players that recorded with Steely Dan and Brazilian and Latin bass players, amazing. And when she started paying attention in the bass lines of the Police and Sting, this is.
Yeah.
This, and I said, "Oh, you were much smarter than me, because this is right. It's not about that many notes. It's about that was necessary." I love that. I love that she had this. Okay, you're trying to show me stuff, but this is
This is my thing.
This is much better than what you showed me.
So I would say that of course I need to I would need to think better, but I would say the Beatles, Steely Dan, the Police, and I don't know. You
Be
said
honest.
3,
Talk
right?
about Rammstein.
Yeah, I had my Hamstein phase. Yeah, I did. I had that phase as well. But I will stick with those 3. This is what I listen to most of the time. And there's a band here from Argentina which I listen a lot, which is Soda Stereo. I love them. I love them. It's amazing. That would be.
But let's talk about this. Let's talk about Let's Dance. This is, first of all, I love the song. I love the song. I love what you did with it, though. And that, to me, is the essence of what the Tangerine Club does. Like, you guys, and you've said it before on stream, we're not a cover band. And I love that about you. And it's such a great interpretation, but it's such great music. And I want to feature that today. So tell me a little bit about that and how it got started, because we're going to show that video here in just a little bit.
Actually, this is Let's Dance, and the version that we did and all the versions that we do had a lot to do with the decision we made back in the beginning of the Tangerine Club. When the Tangerine Club stopped being a temporary thing with Gabriel, and we decided to take to the next level into, okay, we're going to change the name of the channel. This is going to be our flag. This is going to be our company. This is not going, because when Gabriel was playing, the city was playing, it wasn't the Tangerine Club. So when we start talking and having meetings to talk up serious about that, I am afraid of how things are going so fast with technology. I always been, because I think the pace of intelligence it needs to go with maturity. It's not because you discover something that you have the necessary maturity to deal with that. So everything needs to go. So I understand very from the beginning that I'm not a social media person. I need to stay in touch with the concepts that I've learned by observing the world and my experiences. Because if I not have this discipline, I'm going to let the possibility open that I can change everything I am in 1 week because of what's happening and news over there, news over here. And I understand that's a big part of who we need to be as persons to belong into the society, but it's not all. There's a lot of heritage of good ideas and good procedures from the past that are lost now. And I always had this like, okay, we need to think about things. We need to understand the best way, and not necessarily the best way is what it's trending. So for the first, I don't know how to say that, the first rule, let's say, of the Tangerine Club was that we need to create solid content. And I don't want to be a trend, because trends comes and goes. I need to do something that makes sense, that human beings are used to like for a long period. Something that never dies, mutates, but never dies. I cannot be attached to something that it's going on now just because it's going on now. I need to find a way, because I don't have many chances. We come from a poor family. We don't have resources to try this and that and try this and that. We were in Brazil. We were in a very difficult place because of the story that led us to become streamers that most people know. And we have like a gun with 2 bullets, perhaps not more than 2. We had money in the bank for 6 months in order to survive in a very economic procedure, DEFCON 5, something like that. Yeah. And we need to make this work. So we had lots of talks and conversations about the strategy of doing that. And I realized, okay, we can start writing songs, we can start playing original songs, but I need to understand how to, I know that what I was doing, it was a dead end. I know that because I was doing a show that I used to imitate voices. I used to play a hybrid guitar with bass strings and 4 guitar strings with 2 pickups separate. I used to play the percussion. It was a circus. It was something made to entertain people in events. I used to sing in different voices and to play many instruments at the same time. This is good, this is interesting, but people don't come back to it. It's like you were playing.
You just described my show. It's a circus.
No. I was doing something like to play on the street, something that tourists will put a buck into your hat,
like to impress.
but
all
they're
the
not
time.
going to come back to that city because to see you in the square playing. It's something that you are doing for that moment, and that's nothing wrong with that. It's a concept that is just, I was trying to aim for something that could last.
Yeah, we wanted something more with an identity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, that people would
Because
see,
we
would
realized
listen and say, "This is the Tangerine Club."
Yes. Because we realize that if there's a chance we succeed, we need to try to balance what we are good with. So, although what I was doing in real life, playing in weddings, events, pubs, clubs, it was a dead end because although you can make a good money with that, but it just don't go anywhere. You don't build a legacy with that. People don't remember you. I remember playing in places for 500 people, and like, I don't know if 7% of those people were there because of me.
Really
It could
paying
be
attention.
any other artist. It wasn't something that I was building something for myself, for my name, something to remember. It was an entertainment for that event. It could be a movie. It could be, I don't know, a Beatles tribute. But it was me playing that kind of circus music that people, oh, how can he sing so high and so low and play? But it lacks depth, in my opinion. And I was searching for that. And I understand, okay, the only way we can mix the best of what I did with something that can put us on a path of building a legacy or something is we cannot play just original songs because it's not the best that I can offer now. I'm not that good songwriter. I don't think I am that good songwriter now, but back then I wasn't writing songs for a living. I was playing covers for a living. So the best that I can do now, my best project is the covers. Is the covers, not versions. Covers.
Back then.
That I used to do back then.
Yeah.
I need to find a way to use that in the best way possible. Meaning not the same, in a new way that could put us on a path of, okay, this is a product that we can invest on, and then the originals at some point can become part of that. And after this discussion, it was, as my friend Spock would say, it was only logical to assume that versions, we need to create versions
With our sound.
that we could play an original after that, and there's not going to be any disappointment.
Transition. Yeah.
Yes.
Massive transition, yes. So we started to create versions, and we started, okay, this is not a cover band. We play versions. We need to create versions. We need to find a way to make interesting versions of songs that people not necessarily would prefer, but it's not something that people would complain. No, play the way it is. We had, in 4 years, we have
had
one case
one case
of
yeah,
an asshole that come
once.
that come to a channel. We were playing Layla in a very funky
You're
version,
playing too low.
and this German
You
guy
ruined
started
the song.
to ruin my favorite song. But
But it was once in 4
it
years.
was once in 4
Almost
years.
4 years, yes.
So
We're good. We're
this is why Let's Dance, our the first version that we chose to record in a professional studio and have a professional mix and mastering. All the videos on YouTube are excerpts of live performances, but we have planned more versions and more originals to be recorded in studios and have professional mixing and master treatment.
Well, I think that's the perfect segue. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to take a quick break. Everyone, I want you to know, hey, this is, you can see this on YouTube. You can go check it out. It's youtube.com/The Tangerine Club. And we're going to check out their latest video, the one that we were just talking about. It's Let's Dance. Let's check it out right now.
Put on your right shoes and dance the blues. To the sound of playing on the radio. What color light up you face? Sway through the crowd to an empty space. And if you say run, I'll run with you. And if you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you will break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like a flower. Let's dance. Let's dance. For fear your grace should fall. Let's dance. For fear tonight it's all. Let's wait. You could look into my eyes. Let's wait. Under the moonlight, the serious moonlight. And if you say run,
Hey everybody, we're back, and you just got to see the video from the Tangerine Club for Let's Dance. And I got to tell you, I've watched this several times. And, you know, Axe, it was something that you had said earlier. You were talking about doing versions with the Tangerine Club. And you know what? Honestly, that's what I love about it. I love to watch your channel for this reason, but I still get the songs. You know, I still get the song that I like. It's a version. It's, you know, you brought up Layla. You know, what a great example. Like, when Eric Clapton did Unplugged, and he played that version of his own song, I like that one almost better than I like the original one.
Indeed, indeed.
You know, so I kind of relate the two. When I hear you guys do popular music or rock songs or things that are in your own style, I listen and go, that was really cool, but it's still the song that I love. And I think that's what most people really feel like whenever they're watching your channel, which is why it's so popular and why it's lasted for as long as it has. So hats off to you guys for coming up with, you know, not just the idea. It's not a new idea, but it's something that is needed, and I think everyone really enjoys it. So, you know, bravo. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Listen, guys, you can check out the Tangerine Club on all the places, right? And unlike me, where I've got different names for different channels, they're the Tangerine Club everywhere. So if you want to check them out on Instagram, it's the Tangerine.
No, we are releasing the Orange Club
The Orange
next
Club,
week.
yeah.
It's going to be just me talking.
It's going to be that. But, check out Let's Dance, and I'll have the social will be right underneath. You guys will be able to see it. Check out Let's Dance on YouTube, and make sure you hit the subscribe button, because, you know, the key to all of the things that they're doing is also another way for them to be able to monetize the things that they're doing. They're putting out content on Twitch, but when they put the content on YouTube, it's also another revenue stream that can be great for them. Okay, Cynthia, you ready?
Yes.
Here you go. Is mate just an herbal tea, or is mate a way of life? Go.
It's a way of life. I don't even need to think about it. It's a way of life, and it's almost an extension of our arms.
Yeah.
It's always here. Yeah, it is. It is.
There's an amazing video made by an Argentinian journalist.
It's amazing.
That
We need to translate
I've been
that.
meaning to subtitle in English, because people need to see what it means. It's really brilliant. He starts talking about in a very poetic way what mate represents for us, and using the example of going to the neighbor and asking for a cup of sugar or something like that. People always have sugar, and here they always have mate. It's something that it's much more than a beverage, and I will someday I will subtitle
Yeah,
this,
we need to subtitle that.
this video and show to our friends.
It's
because
something
very-
way more than just a beverage. You know, we've been
Yeah.
drinking this since we were kids, and it's not like a coffee that you drink, you know, to wake up or something in the morning. No, it's like every day.
It's a ritual.
It's a ritual.
And you
right?
said that you're drinking since you were a kid, and this journalist said something also very poetic about the first time a South American, well, it's not every country in
Yeah,
South
yeah.
America, especially south of Brazil, Uruguay, and Argentina, that the mate is
Chile?
that big. Peru,
Perhaps.
Chile, Bolivia, Paraguay, they drink mate as well. But where the mate is that insane part of culture is Uruguay, Argentina, and the south of Brazil. And this journalist said very poetically that the first time a South American know that he's an adult, he's a grown up, it's when he goes out and prepares a mate for himself.
Not
And
his dad or his
and
mom.
this
No,
is
he goes
true.
to prepare.
Okay.
This is
You
true,
go there
man.
and buy
This
your-
is true. This is true. I remember doing that. I remember because it was such part of the family. My mom, my dad, and you drink in a circle of family and friends that you are not worried when you were a kid. You don't do them. You don't
It's
prepare
always
them out.
prepared.
It's always there.
Someone already did.
But then
Magically,
the-
it's just there. Not
It's
that it
there.
appears.
you don't think about, oh, I need mate, I'm gonna do it. No, it was there every time. It was
Yeah,
there. So when you move out of your parents' house, or when you are like old enough to not be always around them, you get this urge, and I'm going to do a mate, and that's when you realize you are an adult,
Yes.
a grow up.
Well, that's great, guys. Listen, I have to tell you, first off, what a great way to start our series. This is the Team Vamu video interview series, and I'm really excited to continue this on and get some other great streamers in that we can, share what they're doing and network our communities and just build our family and our team even stronger than it already is.
Yes.
And I really want to thank you guys for your time today and being the first ones. I mean, it's got to be you, right? It couldn't be me, right?
No, we need to thank you, my friend, because we created the team with a very specific objective. It was that perhaps we can help people not go to the same bad stuff that we went through. But when we decided to create the team, first of all, I thought nobody would be interested to join the team. And shortly after we created, we started receiving all these messages all the time. What can I do? Can you?
How can I apply to join the
How
team?
can I apply? What can I do? And can you go to my channel to see if what I'm doing was what? What do they think I am? Some kind of judge who's going to listen to your music and say, "Oh, you're good enough." No, it's not about that. It's never been about that. It's never been about that. And I still get questions about what can I do? I'm doing that right. Can I join the team? I'm not a good musician, but I'm learning. Man, who are we to say whatever? It's not about that. And unfortunately, when these people start to join the team, we realized that we didn't have the time to manage the team and enjoy
time and talent.
and yes, this is true, and enjoy the maximum of what the team can express as many people, multicultural musicians, and not only musicians, content creators. I don't know, it's something. And you were not you. I'm not gonna say that you were the first, because there's a few people, and not streamers. I remember Sikorama from France, a moderator that go and created the Tangerine bot. That was a big part of the team. This is very important. We're going to be forever grateful to Siko that he could do that. But you were like the first streamer that really stepped up and gave me something like your idea. Perhaps we do that. And the playlist of Team Vamo that you created, it's something to be celebrated, my friend. It's something to be celebrated. I think the only way the Team Vamo eventually will enjoy its full potential, it's more people like you step up and say, I can do that, I can do that. Because it's amazing. We take it for granted, the amount of culture, of interesting aspects of being a part of a community like that.
Guys, thank you so much again. And listen, the final words with you as we get ready to wrap up. Any last words, Cynthia, you'd like to say to everybody?
I would like to say thank you for your time, for inviting us for this first show. This is amazing idea. It's the first one. Truly happy to be here, and appreciate all of you. They're watching us. That's it. Thank you.
And I said enough.
I said it now.
I'm done talking.
I'm done.
You said everything.
I'm done.
That's it. Guys, thanks again from Music by Chance and from the Tangerine Club. We are wrapping up the show. We will see you guys next time. And everyone, have a great day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.